and welcome to the Dyer Bear Yarns podcast. My name is Amanda Briles, and this is my podcast about knitting and somewhat about crocheting and sewing and hopefully stitching things and all kinds of crafty goodness because I like to craft, and I'm really happy that you are sharing this time with me. Thank you very much to any new viewers. I'm really excited to have you here. I'm excited to introduce you to my podcast, and thank you very much for any returning viewers. I really appreciate you coming back and spending some more time with me. As I said, my name is Amanda, and I am Meadowy Ravine on Ravelry, and I am Dyer Bear Yarns on Instagram. I am coming to you from just north of Seattle, where we are having a beautifully sunny day and some 80-degree weather, but yesterday it was rainy and about 65, and it was really nice, and now I miss it. I really enjoy summertime. It's my favorite season, but now I'm wanting the cooler fall weather to come back. Please come back. So before I get into things, I have a lot to cover today because I have not podcasted in a while, but I just wanted to mention I live outside Seattle now, and I've lived here for about 5 years, but before that I lived in Houston, Texas, and as you probably have seen, Houston was recently hit by a terrible hurricane, a 1,000-year storm, it seems like. The area where I lived in an apartment and the area where we were just about to buy a house hasn't flooded too badly, and most of my friends there, I've heard they either evacuated safely or their houses had water around them, but so far no one has had a lot of damage and no one's been flooded out. I do have friends who are sleeping at work. They work at Mission Control in Johnson Space Center, and they were sleeping at work during the storm. But I wanted to mention the Lemonade Shop is a indie dyer. You may have heard of them. They have beautiful yarns. She is accepting donations to restore any people from Houston who have lost their yarn stashes. So any knitters from Houston are welcome to write in on her website and tell her about their stashes and what they lost. And she's accepting donations from people for yarn to send to the Houstonians who have lost their stash, the knitters. There are probably not a ton of knitters in Houston, but I knitted in Houston, and I think this is really touching. I just saw this today. So I wanted to mention that. I'll put the link to her website down below if you feel so inclined. There's lots of ways you can donate. There's lots of money that you can send in food and diapers, and they need a lot of things in Houston, and this is just a very small part, and this will probably be done later, so there's probably not any rush, but it's a really generous thought, and as crafters, I like to support other crafters as well as making the money donations. And if you do make a financial donation, please check with your company. Many companies are matching those donations, and that's always a great way to double your impact. So that's my bit about the hurricane. That's one of the major reasons we moved out of Houston was the hurricanes. We evacuated for several hurricanes from Houston, and I didn't want to do it anymore. So we moved to Seattle, where we don't have to worry about hurricanes, just earthquakes, which so far we haven't had any big ones. So I will move on. I had a knit along that ended 2 weeks ago, and this was my first podcast since, and I'm really sorry it's taken me so long, but I wanted to announce the winner. So I used random number generator, and on the thread number 13 won, which is Sally Wren. I'll put her name here. Congratulations! I'm very excited for you. She knit this beautiful rainbow shawl with stripes of rainbow colors. You should really go check it out. It's just gorgeous. And her profile picture is of her with Stephanie Pearl McPhee. So awesome. So what you want, Sally, is this, and I have this package for you, this skein of hedgehog fibers in Genie and a sock mini in Glacier. That backed up. So the Cal was for knitting a project in multicolors. So I thought that would be a nice prize, and I got this in Portland. So PM me your address on Ravelry or Instagram or whatever is most convenient for you, and I will get this out to you, and I'm very excited for you to get it. So thank you very much, everyone who participated in the Cal. It was really fun to see what everyone made. I love multicolor things, and it was just gorgeous, and there were lots of rainbows, which I'm very, very fond of. So, alright, so I will move along. I have a few FOs. One of them I don't have with me, but I will talk about that one second. So my first FO is a pair of socks. And these are socks that I dyed the yarn. This is my hand-dyed yarn, and I also wrote this pattern. So this is the whipped cream socks pattern, and it has this really cool lace going up the side, which I think looks like swirls of whipped cream. Going up the front on both sides, and then I left the back plain because with hand-dyed yarn, it's always hard to decide whether to knit it in a vanilla sock pattern or some kind of pattern that will show off the coloring, because I always kind of want to see both. So this way I can see both. So I knit these toe up on size 2s. This is the size large in the pattern because I wear size 10, so I wear large. I did the toes and heels and cuffs in Dahlia, and this is Peach Sangria. So the pattern calls for toe up. You could do it cuff down and then just do a German twisted cast on, and the lace would just wind down the sock instead of going up. I did an afterthought heel, but I didn't want to wait until I was finished the sock to do it, so I did it while I was knitting the sock. So what I did was I started from here and knitted up, and then when I got to here I put the front stitches on a holder on just waste yarn, and then I provisionally cast on around here. I provisionally cast on half the number of stitches, which is 30 for me, and then decreased down to here. And then after I was finished it, I picked these socks back up off the provisional yarn, and these stitches back up off of the provisional yarn, and these stitches off the holder, and knitted up and then switched colors on the cuff. And I did some a little bit of fiddling. It's a knit one purl one cuff, and then I wanted the pattern to flow into it, so I manipulated the stitches a little bit and cast on a couple extra, and then knitted the cuff. And then I did a Shetland lace bind off, which was really cool. The site where I got it from is no longer available. They lost their hosting. I don't know if they plan to come back. I really hope they do, because it's a really cool bind off, and I haven't been able to find it anywhere else. Luckily I had written down the directions for how to do it before the site went offline. So the site was Slip Slip Knit, but it's no longer up. But I give directions for it's a really easy way to do it. You cast off in pattern, so you knit a knit or purl, and then on your right hand needle you put the left needle into those two stitches and either knit or purl them together, whatever you last did, and you do it with the yarn either in front or back, depending on if you're knitting or purling. And it makes a really nice, very stretchy bind off. It doesn't feel tight at all. I did the same thing for the bottom of my So Faded sweater, and I'm going to do the collar that way for my daughters. I'm not going to do I'll talk about this in a little bit, but I'm not going to do a tubular bind off, I think, again, because I don't like to sew that much. I like to knit, I don't like to sew. So I have socks. It's been far too hot to wear socks here, so I've worn them, but only briefly and around the house. I'm really looking forward to it being fall so I can wear these July socks. So yes, my second FO I don't have on me because my daughter has it. I knit my 4-year-old daughter a hat, and I will put up a picture here of the hat, and I will show you the yarn that I used. This is also my hand dyed. I do knit with other people's yarn, yeah, but sometimes. This is my own hand dyed Rainbows Are Falling on My Head, to the tune of Raindrops Are Falling on My Head. And I knit her a sockhead hat, which I modified with the number of stitches I cast on. I cast on 128 stitches, which was a couple repeats fewer than you would do for the adult hat because she's 4. And I think I intended to do 112 or 116, and I was just casting on, and when I stopped to count I had 128, and that fit around my circular needle pretty well, so I went with it. So it fits her actually really well. It's a little bit loose, but it'll give her a little bit room to grow in, and then I knit it shorter. I just kind of put it on her and started the decreases when I looked like I was about here on her, and she loves it. She's actually wore it to school yesterday and today, which is why I don't have it with me. She has it with her. I intend to knit her a pair of mittens that match, which is why I have the yarn out. I knit the hat on size 2s, and I'll probably do the mittens. Okay, if this is possible, and I don't know because I've never double knitted before, but my intention is to get another yarn to use as an inner layer and knit double knit mittens. Can you do that? So that I knit the line, like have a lined mitten and knit the lining at the same time as I knit the outside. And I'll do the lining in either, maybe a cashmere, because I have some cashmere yarn, or a single space or something. I'll let her pick a color, so that she'll have rainbow outside and then a color inside, because I think she'd like that, and it'll keep her hands warm. And she's old enough now where, especially if I make the cuffs pretty long, if I bring them down to about here, probably she'll be able to keep them on. And as I learned from last year, you can't knit cords to connect the mittens anymore, or at least with a 3-year-old, because she would not keep it. It's supposed to run inside their jacket and run out the sleeves, and then they can let their mittens dangle if they want to take them off, and that way they don't lose them, is the idea. But with a 3-year-old, she refused to wear the string inside, so she had it outside, so she had a string between her hands, and she would go around her playground and use it as a garrote. And the teachers didn't really like that. They got kind of huffy about her attempting to murder the other children, so we had to take the cord off. Luckily, I had tied it on. I hadn't knit it on, so I could take it off pretty easily. So, lessons learned. That is my finished objects, and I will go on to my works in progress. This is briefly pause. This is I'm drinking Plum Deluxe tea in their Hammock blend, that black tea, which is orange, and they say creamsicle flavor, which it does taste pretty creamy, and then I have milk and cream in it. In my hummingbird mug, which matches my shirt. I got these at the Adopt a Stream Foundation, and the hummingbird patterns are kind of native iconography, I guess, kind of style, and the proceeds went towards the Adopt a Stream Foundation, which keeps the wetlands protected and nice. So, in my brand new Woodsy and Wild bag, which has constellations on it, because that's the coolest thing ever, and I could not resist when I saw this. I also got this in Portland. So in this bag, which actually I will tell you about this bag, I love the fabric, I love the pattern on it. It's not quilted or double lined or the way they, and this one's not either, but this one, I don't know, interfaced? Maybe it's interfaced, but this one will kind of stand up, so it's kind of has some structure, and I have ones that have even more structure. This one is just the fabric and then another kind of cottony fabric for the inside, so it doesn't stand up at all. So when you have it open, it's not as noticeable right now, and it's full of yarn, but it has no structure, which I actually kind of prefer that when they have structure. This one, it's kind of floppy, and it can make it kind of hard to get things out of. But anyway, it's a beautiful fabric. I love the bag. So I recommend it. So in that bag, I have, also for my daughter, I do knit for other people than my daughter, but not I guess lately, is her So Faded Bite Size. And if you have watched my podcast before, these are the same colors that I used for mine. And this is my hand-dyed in Suddenly Lilacs. This is Vaughn Vine Yarns in Coven. This is Moonstone Dye Works in Come As You Are, which I love. I love all of these colors. And then this is Knox Yarns in Luna, is the last color. And I think I have 1 or 2 more rows of that. It's trailing up a little bit. And then I will be fading in kind of Fiber Arts and Lotus, and this is what the bottom is done in. So we'll go there, which is nice. This is a single space, this is cashmere, and this is a sparkle base, and this is just a 75-25. So these are nice and soft, and then this one's pretty soft. The Knox yarn is not super soft. It's a soft yarn, I suppose, but this is cashmere, and it's 30% cashmere, which is really high, and it's really, really soft, and I really love it. And I want to wear everything out of it. And I love this color. These are gorgeous colors, these blues and greens. So I'm really looking forward to working with this. When I finish the bottom, I'll go back and do the collar, ending with the Shetland lace bind off, instead of the tubular, as I mentioned, and then I'll do the sleeves. And then after I finish her sleeves, I made mine short sleeve for the summertime, and it's been too hot to even wear it as a short sleeve. I'm going to go back and make mine long sleeved, which I think I should have enough yarn to do all of those, because I didn't use half a skein of yarn in any of the colorways, because for my sweater, with five skeins, so I think I should have plenty for sleeves for both of us. And if not, I'll figure something out. But yeah, so the last time I podcasted, I was about here, I believe. Either that or I just stuck this marker in kind of randomly. I have a little rainbow. Okay, so this is my main work in progress. I have a couple other languishing ones, but nothing that I've really worked on other than this, because I'd like to get this finished and my sweater finished, and then start lots of other things. That's what things I want to start everything. I am interested in doing Andrea Mowry's What the Fade whip, or no, whip, mystery cow. I'm interested in doing Andrea Mowry's mystery knit along, but 7 skeins of yarn is a lot to put aside for something that I don't even know what it is. I'm not sure if it's a sweater or a shawl. I don't even know if she said. It came out today or yesterday, so she may have said by now, but I'm gonna just wait till I see people posting their first clues on Instagram and see if I like it. I'll probably wait till it goes to the end. But Stephen West is also having a mystery knit along, you may have seen, for a shawl that takes 3 full skeins in a speckled fade and then 5 mini skeins in color pops. It's called the Speckle and Pop mystery cow, and that one I'm seriously considering doing. And actually I dyed up a set of yarn for it that I have in the shop that I really like, so I will show that. I'll show that in the shop update, actually, because I wanted to do my stash updates first. So, on to stash enhancement, because I haven't done a podcast in a while. I kind of have several things I want to show you, just to show you. So, right before I left on vacation, this came in the mail. This is Maker's Haven, their July Club sock kit, it's a coloring book page. I don't know. It's really pretty. This might be my next pair of socks that I did, and it has this really very soft green little mini, and then this skein is got really nice, very pretty speckles on it, and blues and greens, and it's very pretty. It's very summery, which is more on the outskirts of summer now, but it's very pretty. While I was on vacation, I got this skein of hedgehog fibers and budgie for my vacation souvenir with gorgeous speckles on it. So very happy with that. I also got these 2 skeins of the Road to China Fiber Co. which is cashmere, camel, silk, and baby alpaca in this really pretty turquoisey colorway, and then it just needed a friend in this dark gray. So they're really soft. I kind of think these might be a hat. Not sure for who. I was thinking for me, but I'm not sure. I don't know if they'll be for me or not. But they're really, really soft and really nice, so I really like them. And while I was away, I had entered a giveaway on Instagram held by Valkyrie Fibers, and I won 3 mini skeins. So these were waiting for me when I got home. So these are super cool. She has this. These are really cool mini skeins. They are on. They are all based on fish. So this is German brown trout, and this is summer cocaine, which is very pretty colors. And then this is rainbow trout, and I really like this one. These 2 are speckle, and they're very pretty colors. I might need to get a full skein of that because it's very pretty. And I also got my first sock blank made by Gail's Art, and she had a club for them, so I bought 3 months worth. So I have the second one upstairs, but this is the reason why I bought that, because it has trees. Isn't this beautiful? So this, I might make a shawl out of this, just or I kind of want to just keep it as it is and make it a scarf, because it's beautiful and I love it, and I love the trees, and it might not ever get knitted up because I just like it too much as a sock blank. But yes, so stash. The next thing I'm going to do is show you some things that I have in my shop and talk about them a little bit. So if you're not interested in seeing anything about my shop, please feel free to watch something else. And thank you very much for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of the podcast, and I hope you come back. So thank you. So the first thing I will show you is, I was talking about it before, the Speckle and Pop MCal kit that I have. So I have these 3 colors for the main colors, and this is Harvest Wheat, and this is Jack-o'-lantern. It's a deep orange with some black speckles, and then this is Sugar Maple Leaf, which is kind of an orange base, and then it's got deep red tones over it and some black speckles. And then the kit asks for 5 contrasting minis in color pops. So I wanted to make minis that would contrast with these 3 colorways but still kind of go with them. So I did these 5, and this is Dahlia and Chocolate and the water in Tulum, which is a place outside Playa del Carmen, where my husband and I toured the ruins and then swam in the ocean, and it was beautiful. And I love the color of that water. So the ruins were called Tulum. This is Orion. It's kind of a deep blue with speckle and with sparkles. And it does have some shading, some dark gray speckles that kind of add some shading. And then Sun on New Spruce, which is a bright green. And these are all on sparkle base. The main colors are on my 75-25 blend barefoot sock yarn, which is really soft and nice. It's there are some 75-25s that get kind of rough, but this one's really soft and nice. So this is that kit that I have in the shop, and I'm really very happy, proud of it. So that's available. I also have dyed up some more of The Hogfather is Missing, and if this yarn looks like someone was murdered on an ice floe, that's about what I was going for. So the reference is from Terry Pratchett, and this is the Castle of Bones. I have some Peach Sangria in the shop on 75-25 and 100% Merino 2-ply. I'm sold out of the minis. I had made a mini skein set with different colors in here, and I'm sold out of those now, but I need to dye some more, I think. And then I also have an Autumn Sky colorway that is available in the shop. It's kind of a darker version, or a lighter version of Orion. This is a little bit darker, and it just reminds me of the sky in October and blue jeans and when you're going on hayrides. I actually really like these two together. I really like Autumn Sky and Harvest Week together. And then a couple minis. I am having a sale, I will mention real quick, on all of my summer colorways on single ply. This is the Dawn Will Come and Spring Meadow and Suddenly Lilacs, which is what I used in my So Faded. So they are all on sale in the shop for this weekend for the Labor Day holiday. Hello, Oscar. My cat Oscar is coming along to say hello and investigate what I'm doing with all this yarn. He's not allowed near the yarn. He would like to be allowed near the yarn, but he is not. I keep it all sealed away from him. He does not want to be here. I have also been doing a little bit of embroidery and other crafty things. So I've been sewing this very pretty lavender cross-stitch embroidery piece, which I haven't actually worked on for a while. I like to work on it when it's been really hot at night. And lately I actually just haven't been doing anything when it's been really hot. It's tough to get any motivation. So in other news about our garden, it's been producing green beans like crazy. We've been blanching and freezing them. We have like what feels like 18 gallons of kale. My husband made kale chips, which are very good, and we have lots of kale frozen because I like to put it into minestrone soup. We have 3 large acorn squash that are you pick them and then they ripen and their shell gets kind of hard and then you can eat them. We've had at least 3 or 4 pints of these of the best cherry tomatoes that I've ever had in my life that we make into caprese. We have tons of green tomatoes on our vines, which I'm really hoping turn red soon because I would really like to make BLTs and make tomato sauce and can it very soon. We have been picking blackberries. Blackberries grow wild here in Washington where we live. So we have picked just gallons and gallons of blackberries, and I've made blackberry jam, which was delicious. When I make jam, I have vanilla beans that I got from Amazon to make my own vanilla extract, which is also super easy. You just put the vanilla bean in a little jar with vodka and let it sit for 6 months, and then it's vanilla extract. So I have a whole bag of vanilla beans, so when I make jam, I quarter them lengthwise and kind of scrape out the seeds and cook the vanilla beans in with the jam, and then just pull them out right at the very end. With the blackberry jam, I also throw a handful of spearmint leaves and let them cook and then fish them out at the end too. I just kind of use a slotted spoon and mix it around until I found them. It's the best jam I think I've ever made, the blackberry jam with a tiny little bit of mint, and then I put in some cinnamon. I can probably write down the recipe if anyone's interested. I think it was cinnamon, maybe, and some ginger. And it's just, you just get like a tiny hint of the mint, so it cuts through the sweetness a little bit, and it's not too sweet because I use the pectin that you can use lower amounts of sugar with, because a lot of commercial jam is just so sweet that's all I taste is sugar. So I really like canning my own jam, because then I can cut down the amount of sugar using this pectin, and then you can actually taste the fruit and the spices and the flavors. So I really like that, and I'm gonna get these and show you. So not that they look like one. So this is the blackberry jam that I made. You probably can't, that just looks like dark jam, but so I made that with the vanilla in it, and it's really, really good. And then when we were in Oregon, we went down to Oregon for the eclipse, which was really cool. My sister lives just outside of Portland, so we went down to visit her, and we saw the eclipse down there, which was awesome. And on the way back, my husband saw a roadside stand selling ugly peaches, which were peaches that they just couldn't sell in a grocery store because they were like not squished, but just like not perfectly round, or they looked kind of ugly, or they were a little bit funky color, but they smelled delicious and they tasted delicious. And they were actually really cool because you didn't, usually when you cook peaches, you skin them by dipping them in boiling water and pulling them out and pulling the skin off. These, the skin was so tough. These, you didn't even need to do that. You could just make an X on top and just peel the skin. It came right off, so it was really cool. So it also saved a step. So I have made 11 jars of peach jam, and this one, you might be able to see the vanilla seeds in it. Maybe. If it picks them up, those tiny little brown specks are all the vanilla bean seeds. And this is peach brown sugar jam, so you taste the roasted brown sugar in with it, and some cinnamon and the peach and the vanilla, and it tastes a lot like pie filling, and it's really, really good. And I left some of the peaches whole in chunks, so it's almost like preserves. So I've been eating this for breakfast on an English muffin. I cut the English muffin in half and have half peach jam and half blackberry jam for breakfast every morning, because they're really good. So I have 11 jars of this, and I made 6 jars of this, and I gave away 3, and I have, I'm going to make some more of this, probably at least 3 more jars, if not more. My husband wants to use 3 gallons of the blackberries to make blackberry mead, which uses a lot of it, and also like 5 gallons of honey, which is a really cool idea, but then I don't have the blackberries to make jam with. So yeah, we've been preserving and doing a lot of harvesting, and we've had green beans for months now that are peas. We've had peas for months now, which were delicious. And we've had several zucchini come out of our garden, and we have lots of pumpkins on the vines, and we have these beans. They're called Scarlet Emperor beans, and the beans themselves are actually kind of pink with black speckles on them, and they're really, really pretty. I'll show you when we harvest them. But they're gorgeous, and they're like a decorative bean that you dry out and then use in soups. So I will be doing that over the winter, because I really like to make minestrone soups and various kinds of soups, using the produce from our garden. My husband is the gardener. I am not the gardener, but I like the products of the garden. I read Deanna Gabaldon's 7 Stones to Rise or Fall, which are short stories or short novels set in the Outlander universe, which was really, really good, and a lot of them were about Lord John, and I really love him. So it was really, really good, and her work always, whenever I start to read a story, I'm like, alright, I'll just read a couple pages and then I'm gonna go to bed, and then I have to finish the story. Like, I have to finish whatever I'm reading. I cannot put her stuff down. The books are the same way. I can't read her books when I need to do anything else, because I won't be able to do it. I also have started rewatching Outlander on Stars in preparation, because the new season comes out on the 10th of September. And I had watched the first season when it came out, and then I never watched the second season, so I just finished rewatching the first season, and now I'm going to watch the second season and hopefully catch up with the third season when it comes out, so I can watch it concurrently with everyone else, and I won't get spoiled by anything, because I'll have watched it. And it's really good. I think I liked the second book a lot, and I liked the third book. They're very good books. They're very sad books, and there's very sad parts and very happy parts, and they're just very emotionally gripping. And she does a lot of research, so she has a lot of historical details that are all accurate, and it's really cool to just experience what it was like to live during that time, and there's nothing that could make me want to live in the 18th century. But it's really cool to read about all the different places that she goes and all the things that happens. So I do recommend them, but there are a lot of graphic scenes that can be hard to take, so not a warning there. I am also about to start watching a Korean drama with my sister called Goblin, which she has been raving about for months, and she promised that if I watched Goblin with her, she would watch Outlander Season 3 with me. So I thought it was a fair trade, so I'm going to watch that probably tonight or this weekend, after I get this podcast out. So that should be fun. She says it's really good. It looks really good. She sent me clips of it. She sends me gifts from it all the time. So I'm already pretty familiar with it. But the main trouble with Korean dramas is that they're subtitled because they are obviously in Korean. So it's really difficult to knit and watch them. Which it's just, what's the point of watching TV if I can't knit while I'm watching it? Although with Outlander, I will keep like the sew faded, which is just stuck in it, and I'll knit like 4 stitches an episode because I'm just riveted to the TV, so I'm kind of used to it by now anyway. But progress has still been going, but so I think that is it for this podcast. I think that's all I wanted to say. Again, we're thinking of you, anyone in Houston. We've really been worried about you and keeping an eye on what's going on down there. I think what the lemonade shop is doing is a really cool idea. I'm definitely going to send some things to her for that. And anyone who feels so inclined, I put up her website and I'll put it in the show notes for this. So you can go and check that out if you would like, or if you're from Houston and you lost your stash, please go tell her about it. Because that's really sad. And I mean, it's hard to lose. I cannot imagine losing your entire house and all of your, as long as your family is safe, that's of course the important things, but your whole life is there. So we do what we can. So that is it for me. Hopefully wherever you are, it is starting to get fall. You're starting to get into fall, and you are getting into fall weather, because then we can wear our knitwear. So that will be super exciting, and I'm really looking forward to it. So have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for checking out my podcast. I hope you had fun. I hope you saw some things that you were interested in and that made you happy. And I hope you have a wonderful day and make beautiful things. So that is my main. That's kind of what that is my main FO. I have a. All right, can you? July clock. Blah, blah, blah.